Hey guys, and welcome back. This is week 3. And so, first of all, how was your homework assignment? If you remember last time, we talked about um, what was it that, Andy, that Brenda needed from you, and that is being trustworthy. And Brenda, what was it that Andy needed from you? And it was two things, more dancing and less fights. I guess a more peaceful home. And so I hope that that went well. Today, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about communication. Because communication is one of those things that I hear about. A lot of couples come in to see me, and most of them, I would guess about 80-85% of them, say that they have communication issues. And so, specifically, when it comes to Andy, communicating his emotions, his feelings. Now, as a member of the Male Club, card carrier member of the Men of America, I've had emotion problems, expressing my emotions. And I remember seeing this one poster where it says, like, how are you feeling today? And it had like 11 different faces. Now that would kind of confuse me, and I would go, well, I feel like this one and this one, definitely not that one. A little bit of this one, about half of this one. But it wouldn't help me at all. And so I thought, wow, what if I could come up with a way to help the men and also the women and the children communicate emotions and feelings in an understandable, easier way. And this is what I developed. I developed this 4-level system. And so let me go ahead and draw. Level number 1 will be here, 2 will be here, 3 will be here, and then 4. So starting here, level 1, and you work your way up. Level 1 was a matter of, and I forgot where I heard this, so otherwise I would give credit. But I read that there's basically 4 emotions. So rather than I feel blank, it's more like a multiple choice. And so you either go with mad, sad, glad, or scared. Now, because all of the emotions pretty much fall under one of those concepts, one of those emotions. You're either mad, or you're glad, or you're sad, or you're scared. And if you want it to rhyme, you go mad, sad, glad, scarred, but it doesn't work. But anyway, so when it comes to asking someone, the first level, which is right here, is, well, let me go ahead and write it down: mad, sad, glad, scared. Okay, so what are you feeling? Mad, sad, glad, or scared? And so, for example, Andy, if I were to ask you, how are you feeling? You may say, well, I feel scared. I'm like, okay, thanks. Is there something more that you can you give me a better idea of that? And so that's where this level 2, which is the numbers 1 to 10, because this seems to be a universal understanding of, 1 is way down here, and in the medical field, they said when it comes to your pain, do you feel, between 1 and 10? But pretty much wherever you're in the world, people understand that 1 is kind of low, and if you have crank up the volume to 10, then somebody's going to call the cops on you. So we understand 1 to 10. So then when it comes to what are you feeling? Andy, and you may say, well, I feel sad 6. Well, thank you, because now I understand sad 6. It's not sad 1 or 2, it's not 9 and 10, but it's just a notch above half. So I'm like, okay. So I now understand where you are a little bit better. I mean, I understand the feeling, I understand the intensity. So thank you for sharing that. But what if I want more information? It's like, okay, so you're sad 7, and but because I want to empathize, because I want to sympathize, this is where level 3 comes in. And level 3 is, and write this down. Oops. Uh, Tell me about blank. So in other words, Andy, tell me about Sat 7. And you would say, I don't know, I feel Sat 7 because I have to wait one whole week, for these series rather than have them be on a daily basis. And I understand that you really should feel Sat 10 about that, but yes, I'm kidding. But I just, again, just made up. And so now I understand, oh, Andy, so you're sad 7 over the fact that these sessions are only once a week, rather than daily. Um, so I understand that. And by the way, if you notice, I am not asking in level 3, I'm not asking, why are you sad 7? Because what I've noticed is the minute you ask somebody, why are you sad 7, it tends to put the other person in the defensive, because I feel like it. Or now they have to defend as to why they're feeling sad 7. No, by asking the sentence, tell me about blank, sad 7, glad 3, scared 5, or whatever it is. You're inviting the person to share. And so up to like levels 1, 2, and 3, I was running with this for a long time, and it was working quite well. But in the back of my mind, it was like, I think I am missing something. And one day um, it dawned on me the fact that um, I used to know this young lady who has since graduated um, to be with God, and her name was Ann Madden, and that she would come in. I was working as a CEO for a nonprofit organization. She would come in and she would say, she had this big cheeks, right? And she would say like, Bill, how are you doing? And if I wasn't having a good day, I would be there kind of going, rah, 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 no, and your friends at the Board of County Commissioners, rah, 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 whatever. And she'd be there kind of listening to me. And then after I was done to her, she would go, so, how can I help? And that was incredible, because it was her pretty much saying, I would like to be part of the solution, part of what you're going through. And so level 4, in memory of Ann Madden, is how can I help? So basically you're saying, what is my appropriate emotional response to what you're going through? So in this case, hey Andy, how you feeling? Well, I'm feeling, sad 7, because these sessions are only once a week, rather than every single day. And then I would ask, let's say, so how can I help? And you would say, well, for example, I want these sessions to be daily. And I would say, I understand. However, being in ministry full time and working full time, and teaching Bible class on Thursday nights, and working on my marriage in the weekends, and again, I'm a little bit busy, but we'll compromise, and that is, when we're done with the series, it's going to be available for you to watch them and rewatch them every single day, and so as many times as you want to, and so this also works with you, Brenda. If you want to communicate in a better way so Andy will understand, is to maybe go in and I'm like, hey Andy, I'm scared 8. Whoa, I understand scared 8. Wow, tell me about scared 8. And then Brenda, you can tell him, and then Andy can say, well, how can I help? And sometimes, it may be just, I need you to listen to me. I need you to hug me. I need you to fix it. Because when it comes to us guys, and Andy can tell you, you know, if you're feeling a certain way, we want to fix it. But it may not be what you want. You may just want us to validate. Hey, just understand that I'm sad 8, or scared 8, or whatever it is. And so it makes our lives a lot easier, Andy, if we know what is the appropriate emotional response or even behavioral response to the feelings. And so, just so we can wrap up, so this is homework assignment. From now on, and by the way, and you can teach the kids how to do that. Even if you have small kids, then you can have them make up a poster with smiley faces. You can have the mad smiley faces and the sad smiley faces and the glad smiley faces and the scared smiley face, and have it like in the refrigerator door, and you can ask it, well, point to what are you feeling now, sweetheart, and then she can point to whichever one, and between 1 and 10, because by around that age, they, again, kind of universal, that just comes very natural. And sweetheart, well, tell me about that. And how can I help you? And if you're able to incorporate this into your regular vocabulary, over at in your home, all of you would be able to communicate your feelings better, than before. So homework assignment is incorporate this way of between the two of you first, and try it out for size of sharing your emotions on a daily basis, going through the 4 different levels, mad, sad, glad, or scared, between 1 and 10. Tell me about blank, and how can I help? And be ready to talk about it next time. Okay? Hey, thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you next week.